Today on X-Rain the River, we'll be looking at the Cross River Judiciary and the issues rocking that very arm of government, especially the non-confirmation of Justice Akon Ikpeme. And of course, one of the major players in this very saga is Mba Ukweni, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. We are right now in his chambers and we're about going in. Let him tell us what he thinks, all the issues concerning the non-confirmation of Justice Akon Ikpeme and Justice Morris Neji being in acting capacity, and how this will affect the Cross River Judiciary in the short, medium and long term. Come with us. Yes, of course, we're here with Mba Ukweni Esq, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And as we said, the focus is on the Cross River State Judiciary and the recent happenings and issues. Let's focus on the Esq. Let him tell us first. Esq, according to the Constitution, what is the laid down procedure for appointing a Chief Judge of the state?
We've already started. I have known that I will take the Constitution here. The Constitution is there. You give me time, let me take it so that let me take it so that we read from what is in the Constitution. That is section 2. We have the substantive law set out in section 271 of the Constitution. Then the procedural one, and the regulations of the MDs for the appointments. So the Constitution has set out both the qualification and who and who should be appointed Chief Judge of the state. Section 271, sub-law, says the appointment of a person to the office of Chief Judge of the state shall be made by the government of the state on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council, subject to the confirmation by the House of Assembly of the States. 2. The appointment of a person to the office of a judge of a high court shall be made by the government acting on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council.
So in essence, it is something that all the three arms of government are connected.
There is maybe the wisdom in the drafters of the Constitution to say the three arms of the government should have a hand in it. Is to ensure that first, the laid down procedure is followed, and secondly, that a person of very high and impeccable integrity is the person appointed to that office.
Let's bring it down to Cross River State. We'll see the issue of Justice Akon Ikpeme. First, reportage suggested that she was disqualified simply because she was not from Akwa Ibom State, and she was not from Cross River State rather, but from our neighboring Akwa Ibom State. But later on, the House of Assembly came out to say no, it's because she abandoned her duty. What's your position on this? Was there due process followed as laid down in the Constitution and the procedural laws?
Well, I have spoken a lot on the issue of appointment of the acting Chief Judge, the Chief Judge of Cross River, since last year that this drama started. And I have not missed work, and I will not change my position on that. It is a professionality. We don't play politics with profession. We don't play politics with profession. The Constitution is very clear. I was reading down. I have not finished yet. But let me make this statement first and foremost, that the politics or whatever is going under with regards to the appointment and the emergence of Justice Morris Neji as the acting Chief Judge is born out of malice and is not founded on the Constitution. It's not founded on the Constitution. There are other sentiments attached to it. That is not what the law covers. Our Constitution, subsection 4, if the office of the chief judge of the state is vacant, or if the person holding the office is for any reason unable to perform the functions of the office, then until a person has been appointed to and has assumed the functions of that office, or until a person holding the office has resumed those functions, the governor shall appoint the most senior judge of the High Court to perform those functions. So let's start with this first. When we all knew that Justice Morris Elegi had been campaigning to becoming a chief judge long before even Justice Michael Edem, the immediate past chief judge, retired. So whatever any person is talking about, those of us who are close with them, we know. We knew what was going on. So for any person to bring any other sentiments, and like I said, the ambition of one person should not destroy our system. It cannot be because of one, you have a relationship with the person or with the other that you destroy the system. If you sow a seed, that seed germinates, and whatever fruit it will bear is what will be available for people to consume tomorrow. If you sow a poisonous seed, it will bring out poisonous fruit. And like I said, if the main reason, which I know, the main reason of denying Justice Akon Ikpeme the position of Chief Judge by both the governor and the legislature working hand in hand is because Akon Ikpeme is not from Cross River State. That is primitive. Akon Ikpeme is married to a Cross Riverian. She has children of Cross River State origin. She has worked. She was born here. The mother was a Cross Riverian. She has worked here. She was born here. Started her career as a lawyer here. Was appointed into Minister of Justice and rose from State Council to the position of Director of Civil Litigation, the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, which itself is a very, very sensitive position in government. If Akon Ikpeme was to do things dangerous, inimical to the interests of the state, she would have done it when she was DPP. But she did not display any of that because she had already chosen on her own that I am a Cross River. She did not claim of such sentiments, which of course are unnecessary. We don't bring that into professional things. So from there, from being DPP, and from the result of her hard work and performance, she was recommended alongside with the then Solicitor General, that is retired Justice Mba Ukweni, to be appointed judges of the Cross River State Judiciary. They were appointed, both of them were appointed judges of the Cross River State Judiciary. Then they did not see anything wrong. She has worked as a judge of the High Court of Cross River State for 20-something years, even to 30 years. She has risen to now get to the zenith of her professional calling. Then you come and cut it short and say, what was that language you used? Is it a threat or what?
A security risk.
A security risk. How?
Now, you pushed to a particular point we were going to. You said she alongside just the retired Justice Mba Ukweni. Are you saying that Justice Morris Elegi was actually appointed a judge after the go of Justice Akon Ikpeme and Mba Ukweni?
They were all appointed judges at the same time, but we have our procedure. Even for senior advocates. I was in court 3 weeks ago with my brother Namons Ekani, whom both of us will make senior advocates the same day. And the presiding justice asked both of us who should mention his case first. And I stood up and told them, my lords, the equities, when the equities are equal, the first in time prevail. Even though both of us were made senior advocate the same day, I was called to the bar in 1993. Ekane was called to the bar in the 80s. So automatically, he takes precedence. So Ekane has to do his case first before I will now mention my case. So those are the things that inform precedence. So in the order of precedence, Akon Ikpeme is senior to Morris Elege. And that is why she was always sitting in a court with a first number than that of Justice Morris Elege. Emilia Ibok, who was then Solicitor General, by virtue of her year of call to the bar and her position, was also senior. That is why, while Emilia was in court 2, Akon was in court 3. Morris would be in court 4. So when Justice Emilia Ibok retired, Justice Akon Ikpeme became court 2. Morris Elege became court 3. That is the arrangement. There is no mistake about that. Even in the letter appointing them, it is stated there clearly that that's why they call them one after the other to be sworn in. Even we as senior advocates, they are called one after the other. That is to let you know that this man was sworn in before you. So if you attend any occasion that requires the termination of precedence, the person who was sworn in before you will take precedence. You can't go and start struggling that. It is not done. We know ourselves, we know our positions, and nobody should pretend about that.
What about the issue of state authority? Despite the denial from the House of Assembly.
That state of origin was not the reason.
Yes.
I've told you that whatever reason they are given, whether security reason, whether state of origin, is secondary. The main reason is because the governor wants his in-law or his brother, Justice Morris Elege, to become chief judge. There is no other thing. Let's not hide the issue.
But then the government people have turned around to accuse you in particular that you have some sort of leverage over Justice Akon Ikpeme, so in the determination of cases.
I laugh about that. If there is any person I should hold leverage over, it should be Justice Morris Elege. We came from the same chambers, Kano at his chambers. Morris Elege has attended all my occasions, and both of us are very close. So if I were interested in saying I want somebody whom I can influence to do my biddings, it should have been Morris Elege, not Justice Akon Ikpeme. Not Justice Akon Ikpeme. But people know me. And the governor himself knows me. I've done cases for the governor. Have I gone to him to ask him for 10 kobo to bribe a judge? I did his pre-election matter in 2011 to go when they challenged his candidacy to go to the Senate. I did it successfully. He won the case. Did I ask him to give me money to bribe a judge? I did his election to the Senate. And I told him I have looked at the paper, there was nothing here. The person that filed this petition does not know the procedure.
At the tribunal, you mean?
At the tribunal. That was 2011. Don't bother yourself even coming here. Did I ask him to give me 10 kobo to bribe the judges of the election tribunal? I did his governorship petition in 2015. Did I ask him to give me 10 kobo to bribe any judge? That is not in my calendar. But one thing which I will review, which stands in my favor, is that I give the judges their respect, so they also respect me. And there is hardly anything that is in their discretion to do in my favor, which they will not do, because I respect them. Even your wife in your house, if you want her to show you love and respect, give her respect and see whether she will not respect you. So that is the little secret. And that is what I keep telling even my colleagues. I said, please, we are intertwined. Our relationships are like the CMS twins. However, whether we are identical or non-identical twins, but this is our relationship. So give respect to the judges. And in reciprocal procedure, they will give you the respect. They said the the daughter of Akon Ikpeme work with me. She is working in the Ministry of Justice. So she's rather working with the government, not with me. Joy Ikpeme is working in Ministry of Justice. So she doesn't work with me yet. She had worked with me before, I agree. And many of the judges have their relatives working with me because they see me as a good lawyer and they want their children to come and learn under me. So what is the big deal about that? I can tell you some of the lawyers here who have been recommended by judges to come and work with me. Some of them are their relatives. So why would any person say because even if Justice Akon Ikpeme's child is working here, it doesn't disturb me. It doesn't. I don't. I make it a policy. I don't influence any judge to give a decision in my favor. Never. And I will never do that. Because I feel it will be belittling myself and then interfering with your administration of justice. I may be as close as I may be with them, but we never discuss any case that I have before them outside the court. I don't do that.
Let's focus on the political issues now. There are some that are of the opinion that if the Inaba, especially across the three branches of the NBA in Cross River State, had sought out a political solution with the governor, it would have been easier. But rather, the Inaba chose to grandstand. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I must I will laugh. Why I will laugh is that who is accusing the members of the Inaba of grandstanding?
We've seen that allegation from both lawyers themselves and people in government.
No, because let me tell you one thing. There were certain things that happened that when somebody could do anything to you and you may ignore those things, but there are areas you could, no matter how close your relationship is, tell you you have exceeded your power, and that is what is happening in this instance. So if whoever is saying that, knowing that this has to do with our profession, this is our fact, we don't have another fact. Has the person come to us and inquire what is to be done? Lest I forget, I have to say that from the beginning, they did not intend Akon to be chief judge. It was impossible. That is why they gave her the acting position, because the constitution bars it. That was a bar. It was impossible for them to have appointed Morris, first and foremost, in the acting capacity. That was why when Justice Michael Edem left, they had no choice, because the constitution said the next most senior person must sit there. So the next man over will wait for the 3 months to elapse. The gimmicks that follow will wait for the 3 months to elapse. Then they have unfolded, manifesting their real intention. So these are the things that have been. I'm also loyal to the House of Assembly. I read a comment debate also about it, and I will ask the same question, that all the cases I'm doing for the House of Assembly, let the Speaker, even the Speaker's personal cases, let the Speaker come and say, so matter you did for me or for the House of Assembly. I asked you to go and influence a judge, or I gave you this amount of money to go and influence a judge to give judgment in my favor. Let them ask. So they did not intend from the beginning. I don't want to go into personal discussions I had with each and every member of the House of Assembly who had opportunity to discuss with me, including the Speaker himself, because that would mean going to discuss things we have taken into confidence between us. But from the beginning, the governor never intended, and the House of Assembly is just there to be a rubber stamp to do whatever the governor wants. So because the Constitution made it impossible for any other person other than the next most senior judge, to the retired person, to be made a chief judge, that was why Akon was appointed acting chief judge in the first place. and they deliberately waited for 3 months to elapse. Immediately the 3 months elapsed, they did that thing they intended. And our anger with the National Judicial Council is that whatever were the reasons for them to extend the tenure of religion was unnecessary and uncalled for. That was the only hammer they had. To whip a lady out of the way and bring him to order. They had no reason whatever, whether there would be a vacuum or no vacuum. The governor himself does he not know that there was going to be a vacuum? When he created the crisis situation and take benefit of the crisis situation? So we don't allow that in law. In law we say you can't create a crisis situation and take benefit of that crisis situation. They created a crisis situation and took benefit of the crisis situation. If they did not want the crisis to take place, they would have followed what the law says should be followed. And in that order.
What impact will this have on the short term, medium term, and long term in the Cross River Judiciary?
Well, very far-reaching impact. Very, very far-reaching impact. Because we have taken a war. The state has taken a war with the National Judicial Council. The governor cannot appoint a judge, cannot appoint a chief judge without the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. There were a first set of appointments of judges. Last year and this year, did they appoint any person from Cross River State? None. Because the ones they gave to us, first, when my friend Justice Professor Ofyom and Angela B were appointed, the governor became angry that they were not his nominees. I don't know how people look at things. Is the governor thinking that judges are these commissioners? We have a different procedure for appointment of judges. We have different consideration for appointment of judges. And that is one thing that both the lawmakers and the National Judicial Council should look into. Because this undue interference with the third arm of government is creating problems and undermining the dignity and independence and integrity of the judiciary. The issue of putting in the constitution giving the governor the power to do the appointments is actually what the governors are now capitalizing on to make nonsense of the judicial system. Look at what is going on in Cross River State now. You cannot have any case against the governor or against the state government and expect justice. The judges have been so cowed. The judges have been so cowed. I was provoked to the extent I never all through my life. I was not brought up to write petition against judges or to ask for a transfer of my case. But I was pushed to the extent of writing to the acting chief judge to transfer a particular matter and bill because the governor was interested in it. And the acting chief judge was prepared to do whatsoever the governor wanted him to do. And he did that. He granted ex parte order. And we asked you, showed you reason in law why it should be discharged and set aside. And he set it aside on Friday. On Monday, because the governor quarreled with you, you then grant another ex parte order for a case you have already placed on accelerated hearing. Is that how our judiciary will be run? And I wrote to him, I said, please transfer this case away from the court because you have not placed yourself in a position to continue with it. You've placed yourself in a position to sleep with the governor's eyes. And we have seen it that any case that involves the government, nobody can get justice from you. And he decided to send it to another person whom he can delegate to do the same thing. So is that the system we are going to allow to remain in Cross River State? A governor will only become afraid of the judiciary if he is not prepared to act according to the law and follow due process. Otherwise, whoever is law abiding and will do things in accordance with what the law has provided and the dictates of the law will have no fear. But there is no how. There is no how we can have a lawless government. There is no how we have a government that is owing people. There is no how we have a government that tramples on the right of people. And so on and so forth, that people will not challenge. and go to court.
What then are the options available? Of course,
the options available is to put proper people in position to check that. The judiciary is an independent arm of government. It should be allowed to maintain their independence. A proper person should be appointed to that office. Akon Ikpeme should be returned as the Chief Judge of Cross River State and allowed to perform her function as the Chief Judge.
Thank you very much, Leonard Silk, for granting us this interview, of course. Well, that is just it, and we hope you stay tuned and subscribe to X-Ray in the River on Cross River Watch. I have been Jonathan Uba, and it's bye for now.